So today we are covering an interesting dev diary because it is the second to last dev diary before we get to the patch notes. So it seems like it has been a whirlwind in terms of the dev diaries and everything that's been talked about, but there are a few interesting things to discuss in this video: dissolution factions, a new way to splinter the Muslim faith, and some reworks and touches in terms of minor details to some of the Spanish counties. So we'll get to that and keep watching if you are interested. So as a side note, I did have some problems previously recording this with OBS, so it decided to pick up a different microphone, even though I have had this microphone recording for the previous 30 videos. So there, in its infinite wisdom, it decided to screw with me. So there we go. Ranting aside, though, I do want to talk about some of the interesting things here. We have the Ghazi, Iqta, Jizya, and the marriage favor contracts with your clan. So basically with Jizya and Iqta and Ghazi, they're all for Muslims, particularly the Umayyads. And with the Jizya, you are essentially requiring more taxes out of the vassal in return for less levy contribution. And then with the Ghazi and the Iqta, you are requiring less money contribution in terms of kind of pushing them towards more holy wars with neighboring kingdoms, like the Christians, for example, in the north with the Asturias kingdom. So there is that to make some more interesting gameplay in case you want to be a bit more aggressive. Now, this is probably one of the biggest features to come out of the Fate of Iberia dev diaries, and I mean all of them. And this is the Dissolution War. If you are pissed off with your liege and you want to go Agent Orange on them, if you want to go full-on anarchy, you can basically do that by having a Dissolution War. And once the war is won, and this is a very costly war, you will not be able to form that title, as far as I can tell. That title is destroyed. So it's going to be very, very chaotic in the aftermath of that Dissolution War, and it essentially mirrors a civil war and balkanization. So be very, very careful if you have any competing powers, because when you do a Dissolution War, either in Iberia or anywhere else, if there are some competing powers, that is going to be very, very brutal in terms of being able to trying to fight for yourself. So to say. So be very, very careful kind of maneuvering around that. There were also some minor map updates. I think they said they added 2 new counties, so kind of minor. They also talked about Visigothic cultures and kind of clearing that up with the Royal Court DLC, kind of giving it a shout out because they want to sell that DLC. It's a whopping $30, but that's for a whole nother video. And I've covered it in the past, but essentially here they've changed some cultures around and they've done some interesting things with the map. I won't get too into details. I'm not really a cartographer extraordinaire. I'm a 4 extraordinaire, so I'll maybe cover that in a separate video if there's enough demand. They also kind of recapped the Mozarabics and the shared heads of faith. Basically, the Mozarabics are kind of a softer Catholic faith where they have the same head of faith with the Pope, but they are more tolerant of Muslims and Christians too, because they're technically not Catholic. So there is that, and they do have a cool little icon here. So very, very curious faith, one of the kind of precursors to Catholicism taking over the peninsula with the Reconquista. And speaking of faith, there is a very interesting thing going on with righteous caliphs, and this is kind of mirroring the Sunni-Shia split. So if you thought Muslims weren't going to get anything in this update, you are wrong. I don't know if this is restricted to the DLC. I don't think that does mention it. I'm not too sure if it is, but essentially, if you are powerful enough, you can declare your own caliph if you hate your current caliph. And you have to have a current caliph to kind of do the schism, or else it wouldn't really make sense. And when you do this, you are basically creating your own little sect or your own little reformed version of Islam. So you can kind of go crazy, I believe, with the characterization of it, but we haven't got really too many details about it, but it seems like pretty impactful because you'll be competing against both the Shia and Sunni sects when you do this action. So be very, very careful analyzing the state of your realm at the moment. So that is basically everything, and then they're recapping all of Fate of Iberia at the very end of the dev diary here. So I'm not going to get too much into that. They did release some achievements too and teased a little bit more art here, but that is it for the moment. So I'll see you guys later with the patch notes next week, and we should get on to things there. But if you like the dev diary, they have a very hard achievement too. I believe this is kind of an allusion to El Cid, but very, very curious. Anyway, if you guys want to see more and learn more about this DLC and the update coming with the next patch, check out my other CK3 videos. Otherwise, if you want to help me beat the algorithm into paying jizya, you can also leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. All right, love you guys. See ya. Peace.